Hey everybody, it's Gen X Speaks. Today is August 25th, Tuesday, August 25th. And today I've got a bone to pick with the people that seem to be popping up on YouTube and various locations that are taking a jab at my generation, at Gen X. And look, everyone knows what Gen X is about at this point. And I understand that a lot of the younger generations don't necessarily appreciate the way we are. And that's fine. I can actually understand that. I can appreciate that. But you also have to give us what we are based upon the way we grew up and accept that that's why we are the way we are and that we're probably not going to change. We're not the boomers, okay? The ones that are putting you in your place today, the ones that are responsible for making life harder for you are the boomers, which is really disappointing to us Gen X people. And we understand it because we knew they were kind of, assholes because they were our parents and they were our uncles and aunts. And, we grew up with them, okay? The generation before us. A lot of us, like myself, my parents are actually silent generation, the end of the silent generation, I guess. And but certainly I've been around. I grew up around boomers my whole life, and we get it. Now the ironic part of that is, they're also the hippie generation. They were the ones who wanted to change the damn world, and bring love and peace and all that shit to the world. And then they fucking turned and sold out and said, yeah, you know what? Screw you all. I'm gonna make money. They're the ones you really want to blame for where you are and the way things are today. Now, that said, look, no one will criticize Gen X like Gen X. Yes, we have a lot of assholes. I'm not going to deny that. A lot of MAGA. Turns out there's a lot of Gen X in there. A lot of Karens and their male counterparts. Turns out they're Gen Xers. But you can't hold the entire group responsible for that. The stories you hear about the way we grew up are not lies. It's funny, but it's real. This is why we are the way we are. And we're also the people that raised you. I have Gen Z kids now. And I have Gen Alpha kid, and one Gen Alpha kid. And I have to deal with that. And I've been pretty good about it. Overall, myself, a lot of us are very willing to accept your ways. And in fact, I will go out and say for myself that I'm proud of Gen Z and some of these younger generations for a lot of things. You're a lot more accepting than we were. Because you did not, for the most part, grow up with in the kind of socially oppressive environment that we did. And that's great. That is a asset to your generations, that you are more accepting of others. And it's something to be proud of. And I hope that you continue it. But there's no reason to come down on us like you do. Look, I understand if you want to take people out for being Karens, you want to take people out for voting for stupid people with agendas that are akin to Nazism. Yeah, okay, come down on them. And if they're Gen X, fuck them. I don't care. They deserve it. But there's no reason to poke the bear. Because you can't top us. No offense. No offense. We've really seen it all. We've heard it all. And partially, and frankly, we don't really care if you don't like us. But you're just wasting your energy. There's better things. There are better fish to fry than Gen X. We've done what we can, okay? We This really should be, we should be the ones in charge of this generation right now, but we're not, because the boomers refuse to give it up. Just look at Congress. Just look at the Supreme Court. Just look at the presidency. We have octogenarians out the yin-yang in our government. Why? Anyone else would be retired. Look, airline pilots have to retire at 65. Why don't government officials? Anyone else would be retired. They hang on. Why? Because they know if it were given to anyone else, shit would change. And they don't want it to change. So again, you're directing your ire at the wrong generation. And I'm not saying all boomers are bad either. Look, there are a lot of good boomers out there. Bernie Sanders is actually silent generation, but there are a number of good boomers out there still. And I don't want to bring it down on all of them. But you want to look at the situation you're in and blame someone? Blame them. Anyway, have a good day.